Hey guys, it is Anna, and this is our team call for Sunday, June 1st. I apologize for this not being live, but see my face. I unfortunately am at my grandmother's rosary tonight and funeral tomorrow, so I decided to Hey guys, it's Anna. This is the Sunday night Team Victory All-Star Call for June 2nd. I apologize for it not being live, but I wanted to do this call. One, I didn't want to skip it after we just started our calls last week, and two, this is a really important topic. So I'm really looking forward to going through the process and sharing this with you. I really want to start using this actually for some training. So it'll be really great because my hair is just done up perfectly. What we're going to talk about today is storytelling. Now, right now, first of all, I have to tell you, I am like, my head is going to explode because I have so many notes, so many amazing things that I've learned from other top coaches in the last month. So one, being on this Belize trip, I have a book of notes. Isn't this nice? I got this. It's a little gift from Amy while at the event. So I actually got on my plane on the way home, and all the notes that I had taken on my phone, I wrote in here. So I like to have a separate notebook for each event that I go to. So that's something kind of a memory. Like this reminds me of being in Belize. And I'll tell you, I have another one over here. This reminds me of being at Chalene Smart Success. So like you look at these and they kind of have this memory. Like I know what's in there. So that was just a little tangent. But anyways, I have so many notes that I've taken between Belize and I was blessed to have a phone call with Doug Moss yesterday. He's the regional sales director for the West Coast. And I connected with him when he first started working for Beachbody. There were some changes, and I had worked with Alethea Cox before he came in, and I was blessed enough to work with him. But I had to reach 5-star to officially start working with him. And now he's working with, I think it's 6 or 7 and above. But I don't know. I just connected with him, and he's been so great to me. I have a book of notes in my little activity tracker. I've got notes all over the dang place. I've got notes over here too. See, I'm crazy. But I know where they all are, and I know what they're from. So anyways, we had talked about some things that that I needed to work on as a leader, which I love because it's kind of someone from the outside looking in and giving me some insight and direction. Well, the great thing was that yesterday, this is going into the reason why you need to ask if you want something. Someone told me this a while back. It might have been Mike Ryan, and I think it was, ask for what you want. Ask if you want that. It was Mike Ryan, and I will also say that someone named Kobe Mitchell also told me the same thing when I wasn't listening. And he said, if you want a phone call, ask for a phone call. If you want help, ask for help. Don't be afraid. Don't assume. So I've done that, and that's benefited me. I'm sharing that with you because if you need help, ask. If someone that you see you completely connect with because they're just on the same page as you, reach out to that person and say, hey, can I be your success partner? Or do you want to be, don't be afraid to ask. So yesterday, I sent a text to Doug Moss, thanking him, of course, for spending time with me on the phone. It gave me exactly what I needed to keep me hitting my goals. And I got this message this morning that said, hey, Anna, are you free? And I was, it's Friday and I'm home. And I said, yeah. So he said, well, here, click on this and you're going to be in this video chat with these 3 other coaches. And the cool thing was that I didn't know any of the coaches, but yet they were elite coaches. They were higher ranked than I was. They've been in the business less time than I was. But it was cool because I didn't know them, and obviously they've been successful. So he invited me into this call, and once again, I took a boatload of notes, and I got some screenshots from an awesome 15-star diamond, Brigitte Linford, new 15-star diamond, on, the day in the life of her and how she's changing, how her team is changing ranks. And we talked about Amber Scott and how she's, all of a sudden come from a 5-star to now 9-star qualifying. And so it was really great to be involved in this. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is, one, I'm really excited to share this, but it's just too much information to just like throw up on you. And I really want to start instilling this in my business so that it's duplicable, so that you start to use this as well. But there's so much, which is really cool, because it's not like there's so much that I was doing wrong that now I'm doing right, or that I have to change. It's just like things I can add, which is way exciting. And seriously, you guys, right now, the energy on this team is unreal. The most energy I've ever seen on this team. And that just goes to show you that, you guys are all pulling together as a team. You guys are all cheering each other on. And when you do that, everybody sees that. Everybody wants to be a part of that. Everybody wants what you have. So continue to do that, please. Okay. Now, today I'm going to be talking about storytelling. I'm going to be reading you a story. No, I'm going to be talking to you about storytelling because I think it's really important. I think for the last 5 years, I've struggled with telling my story. And if I've struggled for the last 5 years, my guess is because we attract the same type of people, my guess is that you are experiencing the same thing. Because, if I can't tell my story, then how would I be able to teach you to? So between being at Chalene Smart Success and being in Belize and really getting a feel for how people tell their stories, Amy Silverman is a really good storyteller. And I know I've said this a million times and I feel like I'm obsessed with her, but she does things that I wish I could do and that I want to do. I want to be a part of that. I want to have channeled that energy before watching her, because obviously I want to be the first one to do that. But anyways, we learn from each other. So what I've learned from her, just from observing her, is that she just is her. She's just, living her life. She takes pride in what she does. She embraces her story, and she has a story. And she has probably a more tragic story than I do. And so that's where a lot of us have kind of myself have a struggle with telling our story, because we don't have that like tragedy necessarily. So I'm going to go through a process, and I went through this process with Ashley when I had lunch with her right after I got back from Belize, and we both admitted that this was a really good topic to talk about for a team call and make this a training. So I'm going to try and keep it within a certain amount of time here. But I'm just going to go through my notes, and there are some activities, so get your pen and paper out. Pause this if you have to go get it, okay? Get your pen and paper out and take notes, because this is going to affect you, your business, how you present yourself on Facebook, how you present yourself in person and on Instagram, if you're diving down that path. Okay, so obviously finding opportunities. You want to find opportunities to tell your story. I'm going to give you an example of that. You go through your life, instead of looking down at your feet, at your phone, look up, take a look around. Kind of like what we're doing now in the group, in my challenge group and the team group, of like, what was one great thing that happened to you today, right? Do we normally think that way? I don't know, I do, but that's just me. But I want you guys to start thinking that way. So it's the same thing. You're walking around, you're like, oh, let's see, I'm looking outside my patio right now, my front patio, and the sky is totally blue. It is bright and sunny, and if I go outside, I will probably fry. But it's beautiful, and it's becoming summer, and I just want to go to the pool. Okay? So if I was on my phone, I would not even notice that the sky is completely blue over the hills. My point is, take opportunities to share what you're experiencing, right? Every day you go through the day, either when you're with your kids and you observe something that just stands out to you, take a mental note of that so that you start sharing those things. If you're not sharing those things, then nobody wants to be part of your story because they don't know you. Kind of goes along with, you guys sharing those videos. Like, how many people know you more? I do. I'm so excited. I actually get to hear your voices. So find the opportunities for your stories. What your goal is to sell people on your life. For me, it was hard because when I was working full time and I was doing this business full time, I really struggled with, and you guys probably struggled with this a lot too, is I struggled with sharing how hard I actually worked. People don't want to hear that. I don't know. People don't want to hear the fact that I've got up early, worked out, got in the car, listened to personal development at lunch, was working on my phone, was working on breaks, was working on my way home, taking phone calls. Guess what? That actually hindered me. When I was afraid to share those things because I assumed that people didn't want to hear that, what I did was I attracted people that didn't want to work. So your story is your story. I embrace it now. I worked my you-know-what off for 4.5 years, and I am not afraid to say that because guess what? I want to attract people that are willing to work towards their goals because those are the people that I love. You guys, when you work hard, it's fun. It's fun. And I don't necessarily want to hang out with people that don't want to work hard. But I didn't realize that. And now my recording is acting up. There we go. Ooh, that was weird. Okay, so you want to sell people on your life. And so taking an opportunity, like when I was driving and did personal development working, there's nothing wrong with sharing that. Guess what? I gained so much knowledge in my head from personal development. I gained so much from learning more and more about my coaches on my phone calls on the way home. Like that is the bright side. That is the silver lining. Those are the things that you want to share with people because those are the people that you want to attract. The people that like, that's cool. I want to do that. Those are the people you want to attract. Okay, so the things that you're just doing every day. Take pictures when you can. You spot that thing. Of course, I'm not going to take a picture now because I'm doing this. But I would go out there and take a picture and make a comment and make it really nice and pretty now and put a little word and, people see that. Okay. What you're doing too by doing those things is that you're planting seeds about your life and people are interested and they're like, what's she going to post next? Where is she going to be next? I'll give you Amy for example too. She lives up in the mountains and she's like, God, these beautiful pictures of her in the trees and where is she going to be next? You're like waiting in anticipation. People don't sign up for this business necessarily for the business. They sign up because they want what you have. They connect with you. And so in order to tell your story, you got to live your story. Okay. So what I learned in Belize is that actually there are two things. One I'm going to share with you because I think they fit both ways. One I'm going to share with you. I learned this from Amy, and I don't know if any of you have been through Alcoholics Anonymous or not, but she was sharing with us her experience with that and what she learned and how to tell your story there has helped her tell her story amongst everybody, and it was really helpful. So basically, what it was like before Beachbody. What were you feeling before? Okay, write this down. What were you feeling before you became a customer, before you became a coach? How did you feel about yourself? Were you like me? I was sitting on the couch drinking a glass of wine saying I was too busy for things. That was me before Beachbody. What was it like? How did you feel? Were you walking around like a zombie? Like, were you watching TV all the time? Were you playing Farmville? You know, what was it like before you started this? Write this down, okay? And I'm going to tell you what I did after we did this little training here. And then what is it like now, today? What does it feel like? And she gave an example. She's like, you're sitting on a flippin' palapa in the middle of Belize. Like, embrace how it feels now. You wake up, you're excited. For me, I wake up, I'm excited. I get to drink my coffee. I get to hang out with people virtually. I get to develop leaders. I get to help challengers reach their goals. Like, there's a feeling, okay? Write down how you feel now. And, you know, I always say lead with your heart. You know, be open to those little mini accomplishments. Like, oh my God, it's Thursday. Wait a minute. I just earned enough money to pay for my Shakeology. Or I just earned enough money to, oh my God, you know, wait a minute. Last month I didn't earn this much, you know, like little baby things. Recognize those things, write them down when you can, share them when you can, because that's part of your story. What you're trying to do is you're trying to instill hope in other people, right? Because you obviously felt a way that you did when you first started. And you needed hope. So what did you find? You either found myself, you found another coach, and what you found in that is someone that will give you hope to get out of the funk that you were in. That is what people are looking for. They want you to give them hope. And how, in order to give them hope, you have to share. You have to share where you were and how you are now and how did you get there. And in order to do that, you know, sometimes it's stepping out of our comfort zone, but it feels so good. I bet you those people that you guys did the videos, feels so good to get that out of your way. But people got to see who you are. Okay. So typically now, this is why everybody needs Beachbody. I learned this from Amy and I was like, duh. Wish I would have, like, it would have hit me, you know, 4 years ago. People need freedom. That was me. Freedom, whatever, it was money, okay, whatever. Freedom. I want the ability to sit here and drink my coffee in the middle of the afternoon and go pick up my kids and blah, blah, blah. Freedom. I'm wearing whatever I want to wear. Freedom. Financial security. For people that just need a break, you know, they're tired of paying these bills and blah, blah, blah. People need financial security. People need to feel great. All of the above, right? You think we got something for all of the above? Everybody. Everybody can use this business. Everybody. And that's how you bridge the story. That's how you bridge your gap. And this is the struggle that I had, was like, how do I put my story with health and fitness if it's not necessarily health and fitness? Well, duh, everybody needs health and fitness. That's my point. Okay, so when you're doing this, it's like you're forming yourself on Facebook, right? What is your family like? What do you do for an occupation? What does your day look like? What do you do for fun? Well, let's see, this weekend I will be at the pool. That's what I do for fun, and I will be taking a picture of me doing that for fun. And then what's your message? Your message is, how are you going to create hope to the people, your friends, the new people that you're bringing in? How are you going to create hope for them? All right, so you're forming yourself on Facebook. Give those people a takeaway. Like, and this is hard. Sometimes you just want to like post something real quick, and I'm totally guilty of this. In fact, I did this last night on Instagram, and then I took it down, and then I put it up this morning, and I have no idea if it just completely flopped. But I like had to think about that. Wait a minute, this is just me spouting out something. Give somebody a takeaway. Take that extra 5 minutes and go, what would be the takeaway for this? Boom. That extra 5 minutes will make a huge difference in your business and in your life, actually, because you're going to be touching somebody that you wouldn't have touched if you didn't take that time. Make them think about it. Make them think about what you're doing. Don't just, I mean, I put out motivation stuff, thanks to my lovely assistant, who gets me, though. She posts stuff that I want to click like because it's just like me. So she gets me. So it's the same thing. Make them think about their life and what they're doing, just like you thought to get to where you are right now. So those are the things that I learned that were just kind of on the surface. Everybody needs this business. Everybody, creating a life. I'm not saying pretend. I'm actually saying put it out there. Put yourself out there. Your story is your story, and be proud of it. Tara Carr was nice enough to share with us an exercise that she learned. Now, some of you may have heard me say Bo Eason. When I went to Smart Success, and some of you that went to Smart Success know, when Bo Eason, he was a former NFL player, got up and told his story, everybody was on the edge of their seat, like unreal. Well, Bo has a live training that's like, talk about being scared out of your mind, being up on stage and like sharing your story. But it is all about talking about telling your story. So she shared with us an exercise that he did that really helped tell the story. And then I'll tell you what I did with this exercise. Okay. So he says, come up with one true sentence for yourself. That one true sentence is the first thing that pops in your head that you don't want to talk about. Okay. Now, for some of you, this may have just like, oh, did she really just say that? I don't want to talk about it. For me, that wasn't the case. For me, it was like, well, I don't really have, like, for her, it was that she had grown up in a divorced family and, and that was a big deal. For me, I grew up in a divorced family and it was a big deal and I was abandoned. I felt abandoned, whatever. But that wasn't my story. Like, that doesn't really connect with me. So I really had a hard time with this, but I will tell you, I'll circle back with that. Okay, so then think about the one thing that pops in your head that you don't want to talk about. Then write that story in a fairy tale. Write it as it once upon a time. Tell it as if it's a fairy tale. Okay? Then tell that same story from someone else's perspective that is in the story. So Joe woke up one day and whatever. Tell that story from someone else's perspective. Then a third thing is that you're going to tell that story like you're reading it in front of a first grade class. So you're going to make it as if you're reading a children's story. Then you're going to put all three of those stories together and you're going to throw out the fluff, right? Then you're going to write on it one 8x10 piece of paper your story. All of that put together minus the fluff. And you're going to come up with one true sentence. Okay, so what I did with this, and I have yet to write the fairy tale, and I have yet to write, because I actually got so much out of just a little piece of it. I still want to go back and write it this way. But what I did was I sat down and I just brainstormed. Okay, what's my story? I wrote down I was in a divorced family and how I felt, and that story was about this big. And then I started talking about going through infertility, spending 6 years trying to have kids, gaining a bunch of weight, losing a bunch of weight, having shots, remember leaning over the counter, having my husband come home when he worked at FedEx and give me a shot in the butt, failed cycles, driving down to Pasadena, getting blood drawn. I mean, like, I remembered so much of that story. And then my adoptions, 2 separate, 3 years apart, like traveling to China, leaving my first one at home. I mean, like, I could have written a whole book. I was like, okay, that's my story. But wait a minute, that has nothing to do with health and fitness and weight loss. And so when I brought this up to Amy, she was like, duh, everybody needs health and fitness. So then I was very humble. But that's my story, and I have not a problem. I don't have a problem talking about it. So that's where I had a problem with, like, what's the one thing that pops in your head that you don't want to talk about? But that's the one thing that pops in my head that was like probably my biggest struggle of my entire life. I don't have a problem talking about it. I just never thought that people would want to hear about it, right? But when I started to think about it, I post twice a year. When the day that my husband and I went to China and we picked up our daughters, and we call it Gotcha Day. I make a big collage about it and I tell a little story. Those 2 posts the whole year are probably get the most likes and comments out of any post I've ever made. Whenever I have a conversation with somebody and the adoption comes up or the process comes up, people are on the edge of their seat. Like, tell me more. Really? What? Tell me more. And then I started to think about, oh my God, that is my story. People want to hear that. Okay, I guess they need to start telling it more. Well, so right now I'm in the process of bringing that back in and making that really part of my story and sharing about my kids. But it feels so good to know that I actually do have a story now. So I want you guys to go through the process of writing this down, because we have such a hard time coming up with our story. You know, I want you to be rigorously honest about yourself. I want you to critique yourself. I want you to really dig deep. I want you to sit down and brainstorm and shut everything off. Write down all of your stories. Write them all down. The one that you write down the most detail in is your story. Plain and simple. Then we can talk about how you share that. But I think that at any point in your business, you being able to do this, actually, if you can do this early, then sky's the limit. Because guess what? It's so easy for you to talk about. And everybody wants to hear it. If that's your story, you are going to connect with somebody, okay? So go through the exercise, go through both exercises. What did you do? What did you feel like before? What do you feel like now? And then go ahead and write down your stories in the fairy tale format and in the format with somebody else's perspective, and in what was the other one? First grade. And I dare you to share it. Like, write it on an 8x10 piece of paper and take a picture of it and share it in the team page. If you do that, I'm sending you a book. This one. This is a new one that I got a few of them. But if you do that, I'm sending you this book. It's not that big, but it just happened to be staring at me. It's a hard thing to do, this story thing, but I'm telling you, man, if I did this 4 years ago, there would be a lot less mind chatter all this time. So it's a big deal telling your story. I hope that helps. You know, keep your mind and eyes open, take pictures, embrace it. Find the good things out of your day no matter what. Even if you're a brand new coach, there's something good about today. Okay, that's it. I hope you guys have an awesome week. I hope this was helpful. Please, please, please give me feedback. Ask more, whatever. Okay? And I will dress up for the occasion next time. Love you guys.